Yep, here we are, the last episode of GT. But before starting this new video, I have to apologize for an error I made. In the last Q&A video, while I was talking about Hiroyuki Itai, the picture of Goku I put was actually made by Hirotaka Nii, who supervised episode 81 along with Itai and Kitano Sensei. It was a misjudgment and sorry for confusing your ideas. Now then, after this awkward moment, we are going to celebrate 250 subs of my mediocre channel with a special episode, and specifically episode 64 of GT, which is by all means an all-star episode. As for the episode itself, I'm probably going to lose half of my subscribers for what I'm going to say, but I do think the GT ending is just as sordid as the ending of Black Goku arc. Goku lives with Shenron, bids farewell to everyone, and that's it. It's unnecessarily depressing and also kinda out of Goku's character. Now leave your insults down in the comment section. But from a technical standpoint, the main thing we immediately see is Naoki Miyahara supervising the whole episode. We can find several key animators from different studios, such as Tetsuya Saiki from Last House or Akemi Ueda from Shido Pro, but their animation is really tough to spot as Miyahara's corrections tend to prevail, as we saw back in DBZ. We already know that Miyahara likes drawing large pupils, prominent noses and adding a lot of shading. It's undeniable that his art style looks accurate. And speaking of specific animators, it's also undeniable that this is an all-star episode with bigger names and also less known animators. The first half has very little actual animation, and here we can find the first big name, Naotoshi Shida, who worked on a really nice fighting scene. It's short, but it's still nice. The flamethrower looks pretty cool and the impact is intense. But if I had to uncover a flaw, that would be the unneeded slow-mo when the monster is falling down. As for Piccolo, he's heavily corrected by Miyahara, but luckily Shida's effects were left untouched. In the following part, however, there is another familiar animator who realized a great fight scene. That is of course Shimanuki. His style is really easy to spot, with his trademark shaking limbs, impact and focus on detail. Oddly enough, this shot of the shocked audience is taken from episode 211 of DBZ, which was supervised by Shimanuki in person. As for the last part of the fight, I'd like to hazard a name, but again, Miyahara's corrections are the only evident thing. Now, for flashback moments, they mostly used footage from the other series, unlike episode 280, in which every flashback was reanimated. I'm not sure about the reasons for that choice, maybe for time issues. We even get to see a scene from episode 289, another Miyahara episode. But it's actually positive that Yamamuro reanimated the scene with Goku meeting Goten, clearly much better than the original with Uchiyama and Ohara. Here proportions are basically perfect, the shading is on point and Yamamuro's eyes are just unmistakable. And speaking of proportions, we have the very last scene animated by Nakatsuru. Not gonna lie, I have mixed feelings about his work here. His Happy Goku looks great, but at the same time, I don't know, his proportions are quite off. His chin looks a bit wide, much like Masaki Sato's during Cell Saga, and his neck appears a tad tall as well. Not saying it's appalling, but looks a bit weird. I do find ironic that Nakatsuru worked only on the last episode of GT and then only on the first episode of Super. Despite being an animation veteran, this is his sole contribution for the series, designs aside. Overall, it's a great all-star episode. The art is really on point for the most part, the animation is also compelling. Once again, Miyahara does a tremendous job as a supervisor, but I believe his older episodes were a tad better. Nonetheless, it's graphically consistent, and from this perspective, it's a solid ending. So that was the 250 sub special. Sorry if it took me too long to make this, but I hope you enjoy it anyway. So what else should I say? Thank you for your support, for your comments and for everything. These are small steps to make my channel less mediocre. Thanks for watching and see ya on the next video.